And as always, can you hear me? Let me know down below. One of you with lovely, lovely, lovely lines. God, did I miss you? I mean, I usually only speak like that when I see my own children, but God, have I missed you? God, am I nervous to do this live stream again? We've been waiting. And I know, even though we're only 11 of us, but I got 10 likes and we got one new one. This is the start. I always said I will be back with the live streams. I did boring videos, many boring videos. God, were they boring. This waiting time, but the ones of you who are still here, I'm here. I mean, we did lose a few on the way, right? We lost a few on the way. We lost a few subscribers, and we also lost a few YouTube channels, right? I mean, Chico, what the hell happened to Chico? Chico, he retired, but I'm glad to tell you all, he's happy. Look at him. Look at Chico. He's juggling those balls being father. And if you actually could hear that video, his wife, she's praising him for his abilities outside of YouTube. I think he's happy. Now we lost another fellow, right? You remember BitBoy? What happened to him? Do I have your ticket? Do I have your... It's not good to make such jokes. You know, not only did he lose his channel, he probably also lost a lot of wealth, but you think he also lost his mind. Anyway, Jesus, am I happy to see all of you. And you know what? You know, to come back and start, I mean, Shahid, fucking love you. He is here. Vax, wow. I was in Disney World, by the way. And then we got Derek. Good to see you again. We got Sandra. Lots of kisses to you. And Ron Jeremy, my good friend Matt. And who we got? We got a new one. My first time, John Emmanuel. Welcome to the show. Probably, I mean, it's amazing we got a new one here. Welcome, John. I mean, that's why these live streams are actually really dedicated to a very small team of lions. We have been investors now for quite a while. And I believe that every single one of you who is here watching today is really, I don't want to call it hardcore fans. You know, we're friends, we're family, we invest together. Thank you so much, sound is good. And I think we are truly off to becoming among the top 1%. Now, I was lucky already, a little bit lucky there with Mantra. I don't know, we will talk about that later. If any of you got into Mantra and I actually sold it at the right time, but that was a real pre-luck. I think the third cycle, it's taking off. We have seen it. We're seeing it, right? Bitcoin new all-time highs. And the good thing about this slight delay is that the altcoin season, well, I would say it has started, right? It has started, but it hasn't really taken off. I'm still convinced, as I told you, 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, I think I was the first one to say, we're going to see Bitcoin hitting a high of 250,000 by October. And Ethereum, for that matter, 15,000 by October 2025. I still stand by that. Okay, enough with all those transitions. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, since it's been a while since we have been talking together, and since this is going to be a process for the ones of you who are new, like John Emmanuel, you will see that when I do the live streams, it's every day I show you basically a new coin or how I stake, and I try also to involve macro fundamentals into why I believe that we are seeing the future of finance being built on the blockchain. So, but what are we going to do today? We're just going to have a quick update, of course, where we left it the last few years. We're going to talk about the new beautiful, beautiful fundamentals. As I said, I still believe we're in line to 250,000 by October 2025. I mean, it's even hard for me to believe because we've been waiting. I mean, we'll look into the specific numbers of how long we've been waiting for the third cycle. And is it really possible that we're going to see Bitcoin hitting 250 in just a few months? Just think about it, in a few months. But until now, we've always been right. We're going to talk about a few coins. You see, a lot of things have changed since the third cycle. We're expecting the third cycle. The third cycle is on its way. we are not really seeing an altcoin season, or let's say a new boom of initial coin offerings, right? ICOs, or at the hype around meme coins. And also it's very quiet, which is why I still believe now it's more important to really focus your investments around, let's say, like we say in the traditional blue chip stocks, blue chip coins. We're going to go in and we're going to have, for now, a much more concentrated portfolio. Now, remember when we kind of left it off, I mean, I still have lots of love. I have 65 positions, but out of those 65 positions, I might now have only a top 20 core portfolio. So obviously we also need to talk about that. I'm not going to get into the entire portfolio today because we're going to start with that. And that is what I always had to announce today. Don't be sad. I'm going to be here today. But then, and in the end of the live stream, I'm going to talk a little bit about my private life. You know, some of you like and I like to share. But the reason being is I got my kids the last 2 of August. I mean, that is the most wonderful thing that can happen. But when I have my boys, I am not going to be able to stream. So we're really going to start the daily streams 5th of September, and we're going to go in as long as this cycle will take us, because I believe we're going to have 250,000 in October, but hey, you know, we might even go higher than that. So today we're going to talk about a few macro fundamentals and a few top coins that I believe that are going to do very well. So I think it's time to start, and as you know, it goes a little something like this. Oh, I want to welcome you, all of you, to Crypto Never Sleeps. In case you're new to this channel, well then please enjoy. I've forgotten how I usually go at it. Anyway, in case you're new to this channel, then stay up late, watch this crypto channel, because it will only be a matter of time until you become among the top 1%. My name is Nico Harachi, and I have until now proven to be number 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's young, he's handsome, he's a prophet, he's a poet. They know it. I must be the greatest. I told the world.
So let's go. It's not so easy here with, mastering this studio here by myself. I want to go in and take the first question. I like that. Past, present, and future. Is XRP still good buy? You see, and before we look here at Bitcoin and do my monologue of talking, XRP, I think, has proven to be actually a very solid and a good protocol. Now, I personally have never been a big fan of XRP nor of Brett Garlington, or the CEO. However, if we go in and I don't, okay, I will give you a straight answer. No, I don't think it's a good buy. Not because the protocol is not good, not because they haven't been persistent. The simple reason, or the answer for my answer, is it has a market cap of 194 billion. So if you go in and compare and look at it, and we see it is still the 3rd largest market cap. If you go in and see, okay, if you want to make 10x, right, that would mean it would have to go up to 2 billion. No, to, what is it? 190 billion, 2 trillion. And I don't know if that amount of volume is going to go into XRP. As if you would go down and find, Solana, for example, I truly believe in. You're going to double your money if Solana is going to increase its market cap to where XRP are now. And I simply believe that Solana has much more potential. And as we scroll down, it goes for the same. I love Stellar, for example. Stellar has 14 billion, and I truly believe Stellar is on to great things. So if Stellar should reach 150 billion from its current 14 billion, well, there you go. You got 10 times, and Stellar will only be at the market cap of XRP. So is it a good buy? Well, it depends what your expectations are. I hope that answered a little bit. So, but let's go back, because we want to talk a little bit more about the fundamentals. We're looking at BTC, right? And as you know, and those of you who's following the channel, I also try to make things simple, keep it simple. And we've been looking at the weekly with the 7-day moving average, and it has been spot on. As we can see, the 7-day moving average is well below. We had 1 week where it was under, but it is consistently taking off. And Bitcoin is let's say Bitcoin has always been the front runner, right? Bitcoin is the big brother. Second one is Ethereum. And we see Ethereum has not even hit its all-time high yet, which was around 5,000. And I still believe we're going to hit around 15,000 by October. So Ethereum has a lot of room, let's say it has a lot to prove still, as it has shown in the last 4 to 5 weeks, where we went basically from 2,000 to now 4,000. Now, I don't like to talk so much about short-term trading. I do believe, however, we could see a retracement back to the 7-day moving average, which would be around 3,300. Now, if you still look at the Telegram group, I think a week ago I said, maybe we will see. When was it? Ethereum was at 3,500. I thought we could see a retracement down to 3,000. It only hit 3,300. But however, remember, I'm not a short term, and what we are seeing now is amazing. We are on track. We are truly on track. Now we see a little bit of resistance here at the 4,000. Are we going to see a pullback down to around 3,200, maybe even 3,000? Should we see that, then I would consider myself lucky, because this would be the time when and that could even happen in a flash crash, right? And if we're going to see this short pullback, 10, 20%, and it can even happen, as we know, it can happen, within a few hours, usually on a Sunday to, Saturday night to Sunday, or Sunday to Monday, when the rest of the world is sleeping. Well, then I would go in and I would pick up more coins. Now, would I pick up XRP? Would I pick up Bitcoin? Would I pick up Ethereum? No, I would not. I would not. And this now leads me on to where we should look at a few coins. As I said, we're not going to look at my portfolio yet, but I wanted to drop a few coins that I am currently, some of them that have become some of my biggest holdings. I always go in, as you know, to CoinGo.Live. We look at, here we can see how much they have dropped from their all-time highs, right? So BTC is currently only 5%, 4.9% down from its all-time high. Ethereum, 17%. And we can see XRP is only 9% down from its all-time high. So why would we want to buy them if we expect that we're going to see the all-time high soon? And I expect that we're going to see a triple in terms of, if we're going to hit Ethereum 15,000, that would be 3 times what we saw previous all-time high. And that's also why we're basically thinking that Bitcoin is going to hit 250,000 by October, will be in line with the previous cycles, and it would be 3 times more than the previous all-time high. I got to have a sip here quickly. My daughter always says I talk slow, so I'm really doing my best here to talk quick. Anyway, let's move down here. I think BNB, I think it's a good buy. I think it's a solid buy, even though we're only 7% below. But BNB Binance is a revenue maker, it's a profit maker, it's a money maker. It's the biggest centralized exchange in the world. Also has its blockchain where you can do decentralized trading on cake. I really believe it has. I don't see them going anywhere. And by the way, I'm also doing most of my trading. I do either on Binance as a centralized exchange, and if I do decentralized, I do Uniswap, which is also, I believe, a very good buy. Let's look here at Uniswap. I hope you can see this behind me. Let me make here we can see. Uniswap is still down 75% from its all-time high. There you would gain 300% if it's going to hit its previous all-time high. Very much like 1inch. Let's see, where's 1inch? 1inch is also a decentralized. When I say it's not only a decentralized exchange, it's the decentralized exchange. And what I like about 1inch is it's an aggregator. I've said that many times. It is an aggregator. It's just like if you want to go in and buy an insurance, if you find a hotel room, right? You go into Trivago or Booking.com and off you go. And the risk reward, and I would consider 1inch being a blue chip. So you can see it's still down 96% from its previous all-time high. That leaves us 2,900% if it's going to hit its previous all-time high. Now the staking rewards are shit. But staking is not what it was if we go back in history to 2019, 2020, 2021. Anyway, so 1inch, I think, is one of those that still have moved, and it's only, from my point of view, only a matter until we're going to see a hockey stick. Anyway, so let's move back. Solana. I absolutely love Solana. And when we are speaking about Solana, you know that I love Radium. And for those of you who do not know, but I'm sure you all know because I always talk about Radium, right? You go in, always use DeFi Llama. Use DeFi Llama here. You can go in and then you can see the biggest exchanges on each chain. And here we are looking at Solana. If we go in here, we can see on Solana, the biggest one is Camino, Ichito, Jupiter, Sanctum, and Radium. I like Radium because it's one of the oldest, right, decentralized exchanges with total value locked in of 2 billion. And I'm using, this is their app, and you can go in there and we are staking. And you can see here, currently we're staking a certain amount, and you can generate 6.37% by staking your Radium. So we're both holding, and when I say we, I don't own nothing. I don't have no coins. Betty owns everything. She's fucking miserable. I own nothing, and I'm happy. But just remember, this is not financial advice. You have to do your own research. Here we go. I lost my slipper. Anyway, so I love Solana. Even though if we go back to and look at Solana, we can see it's only down 38% from its previous all-time high, which still gives you around 63% when it's going to hit its previous all-time high. However, obviously I wouldn't say the problem with Solana, it's not a problem, but remember Solana it's a blue chip, it's a big fish, right? It has 96 billion market cap. So if you want to see, if you want to see a 10x of one of your coins, you just have to think we would have to see the market cap at 1 trillion. Is it possible? It is possible. But I still believe that a coin like Radium has much more potential because it has a specific correlation, obviously, to, let's say, its big brother, Solana. We got Radium here behind me. I hope you can see it. If you were watching on your phone, you probably can't see nothing. But anyway, Radium, which is the third biggest DEX on Solana, has a market cap of only 777 million. Right? So if it's going to hit 3 billion, 4 billion, or 10 billion, that's 14 times. And I think that's very, very possible, especially if we're going to look at the previous all-time highs. So I love Solana. Cardano. Cardano is down 74% from its previous all-time high, which means you can gather 286%. And now we're going to talk about something that I feel is something that's it's serious. This is serious business what we're going to talk about, and here you got to pay attention, right? Just like BitBoy says, do I have your ticket? Do I have well, yeah, sometimes I'm just reading here, say, I just realized that old meme, dot is dead, isn't just a meme, it's a prophecy. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about now here. Polkadot is dead. Dot is dead, right? Unfortunately. I see a few individual parachains, maybe like Energy Web Token, right? There are a few others that might actually still have a profound future, but I think that the parachain venture Polkadot is dead. Now, I believed a lot in it. I loved a lot of things about Polkadot. I was a firm believer in it. Now, is this, warning coming too late? I did warn in one video, but I was a firm believer. But it's better to get out now while the market or the altcoin market still hasn't taken off, which then leads me to this concentration that I'm talking about and actually more mentioning the big coins. And that leads me also to Cardano because, we've been loving Cardano for many years. And I'm going to be honest with you, Betty still holds obviously a lot of Cardano, and she's the 16th largest holder of Indigo, the largest decentralized exchange on Cardano. Now, 16 largest coin holder sounds like a big fish. It's not such a big fish. Should it take off? Wonderful. But I feel that Cardano and Charles Hoskinson, I don't know if they're on the forefront of blockchain technology. It's like both Charles and Polkadot, forgot his name there. I don't know if they're gonna be forgotten, just like BitBoy. Let's see. This is important. So for now, I would stick to main Ethereum, layer 2 Ethereum, and Solana. Love Solana. Anyway, let's get back here. What else here do we have? Stellar Lumens, love it. XLM, absolutely love it. I also love them for, if you actually go in and see, they've been around for a long time, right? I mean, the co-founder of Ripple was the one who then created Stellar Lumens at the time. XLM, they've done already, right? They're the blockchain of the future, what is it called? The central bank digital coin of Ukraine. And they're working with governments, and they're doing huge things. They are working steady, consistent. Now, what is the potential? 93% if it's going to go to its previous all-time high. I just believe that Stellar is going to go many times higher than its previous all-time high. Chainlink. I don't know just recently Chainlink never disappoints, right? Chainlink is so Link, lots of Link. Get yourself some Link for the right pocket, the left pocket, and the back pocket. What am I going to tell you about Link? You know it. Hedera Hashbar. I don't even know if anybody says Hashbar, Hashgraph anymore. HBAR, Hedera, love it, still love it. You know that I'm not into meme coins, so fuck Shiba Inu. Uniswap, I believe it's good. Aave, I love Aave. Internet Computer, it's still down 99%, but that is because when it just started trading, it had this outrageous price of 700. Now, I don't think that it's gonna hit the 700 anytime soon. But I do like what ICP is doing. Internet Computer, it's another huge protocol that is really working with heavyweights from traditional industries. Algorand, still also think it's good. What else do we hit down here? Quant. We've been adding a lot of quant to Betty's portfolio. And it's still 72% down from its previous all-time high. 268% doesn't sound a lot, right? Because I remember when you and we were talking back in 2024, we could make, there wasn't almost no one single coin except Bitcoin and Ethereum where we couldn't make more than 1,000% here. Times change, but there's still very good potential and opportunity. And I think quant is one of them. I think injective, still love it. Curve, I love Curve, still Curve. Curve is still doing good. 1,500% up to its previous all-time high. Graph, don't underestimate the Graph, 2,800%. You see, I believe that some of these coins, like the Graph, right, infrastructure coin, indexer, this is, what we are seeing right now. We're seeing Bitcoin taking the lead, as we always see. And then it trickles down to the other big ones, Ethereum, Solana, Chainlink, the major big ones, layer 1 and layer 2s. After that, we're going to see the money trickle down to the big protocols, not the famous ones, but still big ones. And when I talk about Curve, when I talk about Graph, when I talk about Quant, when I talk about Injective, these are protocols that have been around, for the longest time within the blockchain industry. I know we all should Illuvium. We also hold Illuvium, like Illuvium. Chili's bought Chili's 1 inch, and I also like Live Peer. I think that's enough for today to mention a lot of coins. And when we're going to be seeing each other next time in the 5th of September, that's when we're really going to start talking juicy stuff, getting into, a coin on a daily basis. So that's it. Let me just take quickly to the chat before we move on to since Sandra is the only sweet lady here, lots of love to you. Mwah. Kiss. Anyway, let's see. Are there any quick centrifuge? Yeah, we're gonna talk about centrifuge. Still, Curve is still alive. Yeah, Radium rules are like that. How are you doing, Matt Johnson? And free BitBoy and XLM only pumps if XRP goes up. Where do you take that from? Well, free BitBoy, yeah, for sure. BitBoy, he did a lot of good things for the community. I think he lost it on the way. And I hate those two idiots sitting at Discover Crypto. That's like Dumb and Dumber, right? You listen to those two and all what happens is you fall asleep and you always continuously know they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You know who knows what he's talking about? There's two people that know. Ivan on tech. The only shame, I love Ivan, right? We always loved Ivan. The only shame is Ivan doesn't talk so much about specific coins as he used to do. I mean, he's talking more general. You even, become a geopolitical expert. But Ivan is still there. And I think for all of you who don't forget to still watch Traders Reality. Traders Reality has really taught me a lot. Okay, let's go. I want to go into today's presentation. It's also going to be a bit of a summary. Is it water with oranges? No, this is my old famous drink, a Bahama Mama. I felt like today, since we haven't been around for so long, I could have myself a Bahama Mama, and I will let you know next time what's inside of that. Anyway, here we go. I used to always make this little here transition. I don't know if that's fun anymore, but it used to be. At least I thought so. Anyway, so Bitcoin 250, I said, let's go in and let's remind each other why we are completely on track. We are completely on track to hitting 250. And just before we go in and, confirm to each other that we have been waiting, and we are right where we are supposed to be, I want to, when I started this channel here, we had Bitcoin hitting its all-time high in December 17, where it hit 17,000. I started this channel together with Betty and my good friend Shahid, who you find here in the chat. We started it then in around November 20. In November 20. And there Bitcoin was around 16, 17,000. And I remember as it hit its previous all-time high of 15,000, it went through, and that was when was that? That was in November. It was in December 20 that we then broke through the previous all-time high. And it's important that, I should draw a line. It's important that you see this line to here, right? This line. Because exactly this time from when we saw Bitcoin hitting its all-time high of 20,000 back in 2017, it took then basically 3 to 4 years until we saw it breaking through its previous all-time high. And then we saw Bitcoin hit its new all-time high at around 70,000. Here we should make another line. We saw it here. And remember, we got out at the right time, right? And then basically for Bitcoin to really go through it, you can say around here. Similar, right? Similar time when it then went down and back to its previous all-time high. And now that's why I believe if we look at the previous all-time high, we were around 70. I think if we are going to have the same amount of time, it will go to 250. But now let's go back to the presentation. I'm sure you remember this little history of us. First of all, how were we able to get it, and why do we believe that we're going to hit 250 in October? And we should all be excited because everything is on track. Everything is on track, right? Anyway, we timed the market. We did look a lot on Wyckoff. I think that Wyckoff really, really helped us, right? We were analyzing the market with weekly or monthly charts, looking at Bitcoin, right? And we were going through phase A, B, C, D, and then we went through to phase E. And once we came into phase E, there's no reason to update that, because since then we have simply just been going up. So this we all know. What else did we do? We looked at the market psychology, and I love this slide. Usually people like to look at this slide when we are going down. So now we've got to go back to this slide and say, where are we here on the upturn, right? We were looking at this slide as we were going down because I was trying to convince everybody to get in at the right price, right? So, and that was about here. I was saying, I think we're down. I think we can go more down, but it will come. And how everybody feels. Where are we now? Anyway, now we're going up. Where do I believe we are? I believe we are in this area here. Optimism. This rally is real. So I still believe that we have to jump up to the next point. Belief. Time to get fully invested. And then the thrill, I will buy more in margin, gotta tell everyone to buy. Remember, this doesn't imply to you and me. It does not imply to you and me, right? Because we bought down here when everybody had the disbelief. We bought down here when there was depression, right? I mean, my pockets, I don't know nothing, remember that. Betty's pockets, they are full. I hope yours too. Not financial advice and all that. So, but why is it important for us to now recognize the optimism, the belief, the thrill, or up on top, the euphoria? I'm a genius. We're all going to be rich. Euphoria, I'm a genius. We're all going to be rich is exactly, we're going to identify that when everyone you know and don't know start calling you because they know that you are number one. They know when it comes to crypto, they're going to call you because you were already in early. You know when the taxi driver and the milk lady, and especially when the average newspaper is going to tell you, now it's time to buy Bitcoin. Because what you're hearing on mainstream media now, you're only hearing fundamental news. You're hearing that stable coins can be a part of the U.S. treasuries. You're hearing that Trump, what did he sign off on? The retirement plans. It's still very abstract. You still haven't seen CNBC, BBC, and whatever it's all called saying, buy Bitcoin. The time to say buy Bitcoin, that's the motherfucking time we get out. But we still have around a few months and we still have to get up. Anyway, so talking about the third cycle. Now remember the historical corrections, we talked about them, right? And I am going to refresh all of your minds, right? So we saw back in 13 to 15, we had a high of 1,163 and a low of 164. That took exactly 14 months, and we saw Bitcoin go down 85%. That repeated, and we saw a high then in December 17. It took 12 months to hit its historical low before it was going to take off again. Not 14 months, but 12 months, but dropped 83%. And then the cycle that you and we experienced together, where we saw the high in November 2021. Remember, we got out in November 2021. And then it took 12 months to hit its low of 15,708. 12 months. And only from its previous all-time high of 68,000, it dropped 77%. So some could have expected, remember, I was thinking, we might see Bitcoin hit 12,000 by December 2022, and I was off by 3,000. But we did call it because it just seemed at that point, after 12 months, that's probably where the bottom is. So what have we been doing, right? We are now looking at the historical bull markets. And here we go so what are we seeing here? Here we are seeing from when Bitcoin hit its historical low until it hit its new all-time high. And in 2010 to 2013, it took 1,399 days. In 2013 to 2017, it took 1,461 days. From 2017 to 2021. 2017 to 2021, let's go in and see. So if we go over here, 2017 to 2021, so you can see here where we have 2017 here, to hitting its all-time high in 2021, right? Should I make a line? Oh, so that's when it hit its low down here, basically from here to hitting its high there. Right? That took 1,431 days. Right now, so we saw our previous low at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, and it will take 1,430 days until October, where I believe we're going to see 250. So far, so good. Now, the next thing we're going to move on to. And this is why I truly, you see, I always try to give you fundamental reasons why the market is going to go up. And not only, we were going to talk a lot about CBDCs because they're coming. The central bank digital currency is coming. But how in order for really seeing the transition from traditional to digital, we need to have all regulations, and we need to, to get the governments to recognize crypto. And that's what they're doing. Now, what we also talked about in 2023 is, as we all know, the US debt is rising. And at that slide I showed you that time, rising by 1 trillion every 3 months. You see, the US interest expense is rising by 100 billion every 4 months. Now, this is around 1.5 years ago that we spoke about exactly this. However, as rates are currently higher due to attempts to deal with inflation, previously issued low interest debt is now being reissued at much higher rates. So, remember, we talked about this around 1.5 years ago. If the central bank doesn't cut rates by 150 basis points, actually 1.5%, then the US government will be spending 1.6 trillion on interest rates at year end of 2024. So in 2023, the United States Fed funds interest rate was at 5.5. And where are we now? We are at 4.5%. So we already lost 1%. And I believe very clearly that in September, we're going to see further rate cuts. And what's going to happen with further rate cuts? We're going to see the stock market going up, and we're also going to see the crypto market going up. But the problem that the US has or had, who the hell are going to buy the US treasuries with low rates? And since we know that the US monetary system is nothing but a circus, bigger than Chico's circus, right? We know it's just printed money, and we know that America is in such high outstanding debt that they're never going to be able to pay it back. And, India, Russia, China, and Japan, and whatever, don't really want to buy it. So the only way, and this was the dilemma that everybody was talking about 1-2 years ago, was that no, they got to keep increasing the interest rates because the economy is going good. We got to increase the interest rates. We don't see no rate cuts, and that's how they're gonna offload the treasury bonds. But the United States, good old Trump, and the Federal Reserve and the circus, because the US dollar is gonna implode. The US economy is fucked. But they still need somebody to buy those new, fresh issued government treasury bonds. Who's going to buy them? You and I, with stable coins. You see, in 2024, a stablecoin bill has received bipartisan support in Congress, and Federal Reserve officials recognize stablecoins as a new tool that it can increase the influence of the US dollar globally and support the US treasury bond market. So you see, stablecoins, they have gained significant traction in markets across the world, growing from 2 billion outstanding in 2019 to over 230 billion by the first quarter of 2025. So the treasury market has emerged as essential for protecting stablecoin issuers from default. So you might know that when you have a stablecoin, right, in order to guarantee that one USDT, one tether is really backed buy something so that you can get $1 worth of value, they are buying US treasuries. And Tether is in fact the largest US dollar stablecoin issuer, as we know. USDT is the biggest, but it became the 7th largest purchaser of treasuries in 2024, reporting an overall exposure of 113 billion. So Tether and its peers have become heavyweights in the treasury market, boasting holdings comparable to South Korea, Germany, and Saudi Arabia. And Citibank, right, one of the biggest banks in the world, they recently predicted that by 2030, stablecoin holdings in the US Treasury bonds could reach 3.7 trillion, making them the largest holders on this list. Now, why do I think this is so important? I think that I always said blockchain has been set up because we're going to see the traditional financial markets default, and then we will see everything migrate onto the blockchain. So all this talk in the past about blockchain and crypto is not friends with the governments. Bullshit. The governments, they initiated the people behind the curtains, and that's why we are happy to see it. That's it about all those what I want to talk about. For those of you who are new, I use the centralized exchanges. Kraken, I've used that since I started. I love Binance. I do a little bit on KuCoin, on Gate, very little on Huobi. When I use decentralized exchanges, I use Uniswap, 1inch. I really like 1inch. I offloaded a lot of Mantra there, and Radium also for little things. Guys, that's all I have to say for today. I feel like I said a lot. So I want to go to the chit chat, and I want to say a few things. It's so good to see old friends. I thank you for being here. I mean, I gotta say, especially, really my love goes out, of course, to Vex. It goes out to my good friend Matt. It goes, of course, out to Shahid. Thank you so much for being here. Other good friends, Sandra, of course. Mwah. And then our new friend, John Emmanuel. Oliver's here. And I also see that my good friend always refers to me as Ricky. And I can see, he thinks I look like Ricky, and old Ricky. Good to see you. And in Conno French, so good to see you. So good to see all of you. I hope I brought you some value today. And I also want to know, we should get a little more active on the Telegram. I want to know how the hell you are. And I don't mean that, in a way like everybody else. Yeah, click, hit the like and subscribe and write what you had for dinner, 2 weeks ago. I'm saying that I want to hear where you are and where are you investing and which true good new YouTube channels are you actually watching in order to get valid information, and which protocols do you believe in? I mean, it used to be the foundation of this channel. Again, I want to say I like to always refer to all of you as lions and eagles. And today we're going to listen to the old video of an eagle, because every one of you, and there are not many today, and there never were many, but you know what? That doesn't really matter, because I know we're going to be a small group of rich people. And that's lovely, right? Money doesn't buy happiness, but it fucking buys everything else. And we're going to be rich, and when the third cycle is over, I will invite 20 of you, and we're going to meet somewhere. But I know you'll be able to pay it yourself. Anyway, we still got a few months to go. Thank you for being here. And you are truly, truly an eagle, because an eagle flies alone. I love you all. See you tomorrow. No.